Yesterday VeChain had a pretty nasty day, and today we have a little bounce versus US dollar. Don't be fooled by either of those two. A small bounce could just mean a continuation to the downside, and also in the grand picture, a big fall like we had yesterday in VeChain could just be a much needed correction. That reasoning in mind, let's make some price prediction for this year. We don't have much of it, but a few weeks. But nonetheless, we will take a look what is happening and what could be happening in the near future. Also, let's take a look at people's interest over time, practically since VeChain's inception. And if that interests you, ladies and gentlemen, I present you VeChain. If you want to be a part of our little community, our crypto pack, feel free to subscribe to the channel. There's a red box beneath this video. Click on it and join us. It's absolutely free. If you want to go to the next level, you can donate and feed this dinosaur. Where and how, find out in the description below this video. And now let's head to the Google Trends. We typed VeChain like a search term in the last 5 years. This is people's interest through that time, so a measurement of how much you were interested in VeChain over the last 5 years. And of course, the first thing popping in your eye is our big bull run in 2017. You can see that practically nothing was happening for VeChain until this explosion came. Then we have a few of these spikes to the upside. I believe this was the mainnet launch or something like that. Don't hold a grudge against me, I'm not a fundamental analysis guy. I just interpret what the chart is telling me. And a few of these. And this year we are having our first, a little bigger spike. What is this an indication of? Well, for one thing, I think this is the spike of the start in bull market of VeChain. So ladies and gentlemen, the fuel has been injected, the motor has started, and that motor or engine is just getting heated. The spikes will be much bigger than this. All you have to do is one thing, have patience and wait. Before we leave this chart, one line is catching my eye and I will make it visible to you. Here's the line of resistance. Nothing too fancy, but something to think about. And the next time we aboard our rocket ship, the levels at about 32 of people's interest could give us some hard time and resistance. I have no doubt in my mind that this level will be breached, but something to keep an eye on. But when we talk about keeping that eye, let's head to the VeChain versus US dollar, because this is where most of our answers lie. Here we are, VeChain chart versus US dollar, a 3-day chart, so every candle represents a 3 days. In our last video, we did a price prediction for the beyond 2020, a more longer term price prediction for 2021. If you haven't, absolutely check out that video. It might give you some answers about when and how in VeChain. As I said, we used a weekly chart on our last video. Today we are using a 3-day chart, just because of the reason that we won't look that far into the future as we did in that video. So 3-day chart is quite enough. First of all, I want to start with a line that I started in that video also, and that is the key support line in VeChain price action and the shift between bear and the bull. There it is. Just to see the significance, let's make it like this, and you can see that it really is the line that is telling us a powerful story. Let's not say everything we said in our last video, but this was a powerful resistance, ladies and gentlemen, that lasted for a few months, years. But that is a good thing, because on this occasion when we broke this line, we could expect a vice versa, heavy support on that line. So just based on this one line at $0.008, did we bottom in our recent price action of VeChain? Well, we could be bottomed, but then again, maybe not. Because if we take this line and make it a zone, we are having a bounce of it, of this level, right? Can we say with certainty that now is the time to go up to new all-time highs? No, absolutely not. We just touch this support. It doesn't mean that we won't touch it again. And also, it doesn't mean that we will not go any further into this zone. So never expect a price to respect a certain line. It could be respecting it, but respect the zone, the area where the buying is selling is happening. So if we follow the zone, yes, we could be bottoming. If we follow just the line, no, we haven't bottomed yet. Frankly, do you want to know my opinion? I would like to see a retest of this blue line, just for the sake of certainty, because after we test a support this strong, we should have a powerful move to the upside, like saying, giving a check mark to this support and say, bye bye, adios, we will never meet again. And that really could be the case. If we touch this line, we could be facing a case of never seeing that line again. So a quick touch and even more quicker moonshot. So globally for me, we do not have the case of strong support and the bounce, and the volume is showing it, in my opinion. Why? Well, you can see a declining volume all the way from its peaks. If we are bottoming, shouldn't we see a bigger volume, either red or either green? That's just my opinion. A bigger volume should come, and let's await it to come when we touch this line. After the volume, next thing that will help us decide have we bottomed or not are moving averages. On the screen you see 50-week moving average, and when are we in the constant uptrend, we bounce off this level. We just do. On the 3-day chart, I always like to look at the 50 moving average. We didn't do that. Okay, what's our next target? That's far more like it, right? Because now you see that we bounced off this 100 moving average. And ladies and gentlemen, just by looking at it, okay, maybe this moving average will provide us with a fairly needed bottom, because we have a bounce. Now, if we follow the case from the volume that is saying more downside is coming, if we follow the case of this trend line as our strongest support ever in VeChain, we might break this 100 moving average. And then what is our final destination? A 200 moving average. That is only in the case that we break this 100, which is for now safe. Okay? But if we remove all this, is 200 moving average a little too far away? Well, you think about it, it is not too far away, because at some point in the future, let's move this a little, could see something like this. The 200 coincide with our biggest support, and that is the case I'm waiting for. So, ladies and gentlemen, this would be the strongest support that we can find in VeChain price action ever, because we would have horizontal support at around 0.008. God, I hate those low numbers. But also a 200 moving average that would come at that point. That is not to say that this moving average of 100 will not do this and become that support. I don't know, but to me, everything is pointing to more consolidation and to more bleeding You will know when the bottom is made just by looking at this indicator, volume, because volume will show you something like this. It will break this downward trajectory. Okay, now we talked a lot, but in all its fairness, what is our price prediction? Let me remind you and myself, this is the year of 2021. Now look how close we are. I promised you a conclusion for the year 2020. Well, that shouldn't be that hard. We are talking about just a little box, okay? So let's make it quick and practical. After all this talk, this line 0.008, the most important support ever. Volume going lower, lower, lower until it explodes. A moving averages, the breach of the 50 moving average and the support at the 100 moving average. The 200 moving average could be a case of support in the future. My final answer is no. I do not expect us to break this line. When we see a crossing either one of these moving averages and this line and the bigger volume, that will be our bottom. So if we take this point and this moving average as our lowest point that we will go, and I really don't believe that we will fall below this line, and our highest point and resistance, we never talked about it, but 50 period moving average to the upside now is at 0.013, our biggest resistance. Our biggest support, well, the line itself. That's it. I'm removing all of this. This is the box where VeChain will be in the next few weeks. No one can tell exactly where. So on the downside, like this. On the upside, how about like this? Be prepared for this type of move. And by that time, we will already have our 2021. That is a story that we touched in our last video, and that is a story that will be touched in our future videos. Do you like this idea? Show me that thumbs up. Of course, if you do like it. If you don't like it and think that I'm talking nonsense, check out one of my other videos. I'm showing them to you right now. There you can find some extra cool and valuable information. Adios.